This is a spatula I ordered on Amazon, and I had to cut some of the wooden part off to make room for my fingers so I could do the finger spin trick, because that's what the backyard hibachi chef said to do on YouTube. And in this next clip, you'll see the majority of my ingredients. To start, I prepped the lo mein noodles, and whoops, I didn't see that there was stuff holding them together in these, but I took care of that. And here you just see that I have the white rice and the noodles prepped. And in this clip, I prepped all the vegetables and got the onion ready for the volcano trick. And wear goggles if your eyes are sensitive, because this onion had me crying so much. For the onion volcano trick, I used an article from the website From Michigan to the Table, which had all the steps I had to follow in order to be successful with it. And all it took was an onion, some oil, a splash of clear grain alcohol, and a lighter to ignite the flame. And to be honest, this flame did scare me for a sec because it's sort of huge, but it goes out by itself, so I just had to trust the process for a second. And in this clip, I'm just cutting up the onions from the volcano to use in the fried rice. In these clips, I'm practicing for the egg juggle with an orange, then a lemon, which is really hard, and finally a plum. And here's my first attempt with a real egg, and it broke really quickly. This is when I started the fried rice, and the first step is making the egg while executing the egg juggle I learned from the backyard hibachi chef on YouTube. After cracking the egg, you just scramble them up. And for the fried rice recipe and instructions, I also use the backyard hibachi chef's videos. Now I heat up some more oil, add the onions from the volcano, my prepped white rice, and finally the eggs I just scrambled. And after mixing all that together, I added a hole in the middle of the rice to add butter so that all the rice around it could absorb it. After this, I went ahead and I added salt and pepper, then checked my checklist to make sure I was on track, and finally added soy sauce, then gave it a mix. Here I start plating the rice, which is the beginning of the 3 full hibachi meals I end up making. This is my first progress track. I do it every time I add something to the plate. This is me making the noodles. These are super easy to make. I simply added the prepped lo mein noodles, soy sauce, teriyaki sauce, salt, pepper, and butter. And here I just add them to the plates and show you my progress. After the noodles were done and plated, I added oil and garlic to a pan to get started on making the vegetables. I added zucchini, mushrooms, and onions. Then for my third trick, and the reason I had to manually cut the wood off of the spatula I ordered, I did the finger spin to flip combo I learned from the backyard hibachi chef. And I did it maybe 25 times. After those were done, I just added those to 2 of the plates, not the third because my sister doesn't like vegetables. Finally, I began making the steak and shrimp using another one of the backyard hibachi chef's videos on YouTube. He's the best. And I used the palm technique to measure steak readiness, as you could see here. I started both off with oil, salt, and pepper. And since shrimp cooks really quickly, I had to be very attentive here. And I added butter and soy sauce to both and lemon to the shrimp. In this clip, I plated the shrimp because they were ready first. And I add in a picture just showing progress because the plate is coming together. I messed up the steak in the time that I was plating the shrimp, so I cut myself some slack because being a hibachi chef is hard and I'm horrible at multitasking on top of that. I restarted the steaks and added garlic, oil, and butter to a pan with the steaks, added some soy sauce, and then I just let them cook. And even though most hibachi chefs cut their steak while it's still on the grill, I made everything in small skillets/pans, so I took it off, put it on a cutting board, and cut it there instead because I had to. Lastly, to top it all off, I made a yum yum sauce, which consists of ketchup, mayo, rice vinegar, water, salt, garlic powder, pepper, and paprika, and it looks a little gross before I mixed it, but it turned out good. And this is a picture of the final product, a picture of my favorite trick, the onion volcano, me very focused, and then just another picture of the final product. Thanks for watching!